Hey, how you doing, random stranger? Man, I've missed K-On! And chatting about it with you guys. Last video, I did say that I would try not to take too long in between reactions, and then of course I had to up and leave for about 3 weeks. So I'm so sorry about that, but we are back now, and I'm really hyped to see what our daughters will get up to in episodes 5 and 6. Before watching, and yeah, you know the drill by now, I just want to run through some of your comments. I had put out a request last time for stories from you guys. Well, those of you who'd actually watched K-On! As it was released back in the day. And thank you for responding, because I loved reading about how much K-On! Means to you even after so many years. And I definitely get the sense that it is an eminently rewatchable show, and the kind of show where you pick up on more and more detail and depth every time you watch it, which is super rare because honestly, I don't think I'd be able to name more than a handful of series where I loved the characters and the relationships between them so much that I would watch or rewatch on a regular basis. Um, Maybe for me it would be Avatar, The Last Airbender, um, Ruby from Rooster Teeth. I don't know if there are any of you out there who watch Ruby. It is a far from perfect show, but the strength of the concept and the characters, I feel, are enough to sort of make up for the kind of basic quality of animation in the first few seasons, as well as more than a few problematic plot holes. Anyway, yeah, it's really cool to be able to watch K-On! With you all, and I think I'm in a similar boat to some of you in that none of my friends watch it and probably will never watch it. So yeah, thank you for being here. On the actual episodes, we had a great one that put a spotlight on the surprisingly realistic relationship between Ritsu and her drums. I was trying to think of what it was that made Ritsu suddenly just want to try out all of the other instruments and sort of take a break from dating her drum set. And Video Runaway had a really great explanation for that. So they wrote, episode 3, I find, is a really cathartic episode. As someone who has hobbies that I sometimes struggle with finding motivation to do, like Ritsu, sometimes just taking a break can remind me why I love my hobbies and reinforce that I want to keep doing it. Yeah, as for me, as someone who learned piano and violin for most of my life up until high school, so that's like a good 10 to 15 years, there are just these moments where you like hit a brick wall and your passion kind of flags. It's almost like a long-term relationship where to maintain it you sometimes need to give yourself some breathing room, and particularly with something like an instrument, which is really fun and so rewarding, but at the same time demands quite a bit of commitment. So I love that K-On! Is able to take something so real and then just channel it through these adorable characters, so much so that you really start to see yourself in them. Speaking of being real, there were some other great notes about Ritsu's character. So from Evan David, it's often said of drummers that they provide the reliable musical backbone or anchor for the more flamboyant instruments and or band members to hang on to. Think Ringo's role in the Beatles, which is going to be a tiny bit of a problem for someone who relishes attention as much as Ritsu does. And yeah, I mean, despite Yui's comical attempts at shining a light on Ritsu's drumming, like literally, drums are just unavoidably, for the most part, you know, other than solo bits and stuff, they're like the glue that stays in the background of a song. And given Ritsu's not need for attention, but she's very much the opposite of, say, Mio, who really prefers not to be at the center of attention and seen, and is way more comfortable with playing the support role. Evan David also mentioned the possibility that Part of the reason behind Ritsu's dilemma was the sense that she felt that she was always trying to keep up with a bunch of people who were all, if not out and out musical geniuses like Yui, at least highly talented and creative in their own right, as shown by the budding Mio-Mugi songwriting partnership, which was something I noticed in the last reaction to and I thought was really cool. Also, Asuza, who was raised in a professional jazz family from birth, pretty much. So that was a new thought to me and really interesting in that Ritsu might also have been having a bit of identity crisis in relation to what she actually contributes to the band. There was another interesting point made by Dr. X Rebel. Man, the comment section was on fire this time. I mean, it always is. But yeah, so they wrote, Ritsu is in a lot of ways the most mature and brazen, which is probably why she clashes the most with Sawako, who I will argue anyone has a soft spot for our beloved drummer. To be honest, I hadn't really thought too deeply about Sawako's interactions with the band. But yeah, Ritsu as the leader and the spokesperson for the other girls, she is the one who confronts the most or negotiates with or is the main receiver of Sawako's wrath when she does unleash it. And I can definitely see similarities between Ritsu and Sawako in that both have such strong, dominant personalities. I mean, like, regardless of how much Sawako tries to sell that image of her being the meek, softly spoken teacher. So it makes sense that those two would clash the most, but also have quite a strong connection. And actually, okay, now that I'm thinking about it, I do wonder if Sawako was the leader of her former band, which would provide yet another reason for them to relate to each other. Next, I am so glad the Sanity scale of the chart made sense to you guys, and a couple of you made some really great additions to it. So I talked about how Ritsu is slightly more sane in that there's a method to her madness. There's always a practical reason driving her actions. And to add to that, the Sledge pointed out, Ritsu also is a master manipulator to the point of deviousness, agree, and also the one who's behind most of their crazy schemes. She was the one who came up with the idea to blackmail Sawachan Sensei to bring their advisor back, which I had actually forgotten about. I think that happened at the start of season 1. Then was also behind the plot to pocket most of the 500,000 yen in season 2, episode 2. So this image of Ritsu as like the don of a mafia crime family is really growing on me, and I do hope to see more of Don Ritsu in future episodes. Super Quack Duck. They summarized the chart and my feelings about each of the characters perfectly. And I kind of imagined the following as descriptions in their high school yearbook or something. So, Mugi, I'm an Elysian, would like to experience peasantry. Mio, I get into an escapist mode with scary things. Ritsu, I'm not an idiot. I just partake for fun and mood. And then Asuza, we live in a society. Oh my goodness. When I read that in my head, I kind of imagined Asuza breaking the fourth wall and just staring directly into the camera as, the other 4 girls are behind her out crazying each other. And then Asuza says in this deadpan, defeated voice, we live in a society. That was perfect. Also, Yui, I'm a marshmallow, which is, again, accurate because I see Yui as a total post-postmodernist. So yeah, man, thank you, Super Quack Duck. Those were amazing. Oh man, I haven't even recapped episode 4, the field trip. So basically there were a lot of fun moments between the 4 OGs, with Mio being Mio and trying to retain some level of propriety, but in the end being gradually worn down and then ultimately broken by Ritsu's particular brand of humor. Of course it was Ritsu. Here I go on my Mitsu rant again. I just love that their relationship works so well in such an opposites attract way. Um, but it's even more than that. So I actually, please indulge me as I quote shamelessly from an article that is definitely not a reliable source for science. But the basic point about this opposites attract dynamic between Ritsu and Mio stands. So in relationships, the old saying goes opposites attract. In chemistry, this is called an ionic chemical bond. Just stick with me here. Ions have either positive or negative charges. The different charges complete each other and fill the spaces that the other may be lacking. When you form an ionic bond in chemistry, the opposites complement each other and build the relationship into something greater. And then they kind of give the example of hydrogen and oxygen forming water, but I do believe that water molecules are formed by polar bonds and not ionic bonds. But anyway, that is not important because here's the takeaway. In successful opposite relationships, we learn from the qualities of our mate. They may inspire us to be more outspoken or introduce us to things that we never would have experienced without them. And I feel like that's it. This is why it's such a great ship, because the K-On! Writers really dig deep into how Mio and Ritsu help each other become better versions of themselves. And I'm kind of really curious to see how far they'll go with that. One final thing about episode 4 that I learnt from Forecast G. On Ritsu and Yui speaking funny, the old-timey talk was more of a dialect specific to a certain region in Kyoto, I believe. Mugi's explanation of Kinkakuji, so the temple, they were clapping because of her knowledge and also because her dialect was so much smoother than Ritsu's. And it turns out that Mugi's VA actually grew up in that region. So yeah, thank you for that. It's very interesting. And also thank you to Video Runaway, who also posted a link to an image of the page in the English translated version of the K-On! Manga with that dialect scene, and it is so worth checking out. And I'll put a link in the description below, because unlike the English dub, which I watched just for that scene, where they're using, ye old English with the these and the thines, in the manga, they have the characters speaking some kind of like a very street New York dialect, and I won't repeat the lines here, but I was in shock, particularly seeing the words that come out of Mugi's mouth. And yeah, man, the art of translation is just so fascinating, particularly when there's not really a direct parallel between the languages. All right, I think we're finally good to go and dive into episode 5. I really missed Asusa in the last one, so I can't wait to see her here. If you guys are ready to go, let's do this in 3, 2, 1, go. Man, those old school flip phones. Oh yeah, so this episode I think focuses on Ui, Asusa, and I forgot the other girl's name. Jun. Ah, this song, man. It's a pure adrenaline shot to the soul. I love that. Flex spinning motion. Oh, okay, I actually have English lyrics this time. I love also how they make the instruments that show up just before. They look so realistic. I love these lyrics. And spill our guts to each other. Even the lyrics are kind of super chaotic. Yeah, chaotic and carefree, just matching the rhythm and the melody and the way that Yui is singing this. Reach our crescendo. Love the musical terms. They're just slotted in there. Oh, you hear that? The snare, the snare of the drum. It's just so reverberating. It's great. Oh, so this is like the same timeline, but just in a different place with a Caesar. Okay. A Caesar. Is this going to be like an exploration of a Caesar and Yui's relationship from a Caesar's point of view? I'm all for this. It looked like seaweed. That's the girl that joined the jazz club instead, right? Yeah. So all the senpais with like who are sane pass the sanity test or join the jazz club. Oh man, battle of the senpais. Caesar having to defend the honor of her four crazy senpais. Hmm. What's wrong? First instinct. Wow, this is so interesting. Like you really feel the absence of the four main girls. Yeah, it's so quiet. That's quite meta. That lunchbox bag. She part of the Mio fan club. That's from Ritsu. Oh man, I love that they're just kind of going over their stuff and absorbing their chaotic energy from their things alone. I was wondering how Ui was going to survive that Yui. Emotionally, obviously, she can take care of herself. Oh, oh, that's the jazz club flexing. It's accurate. I mean, I was in the string orchestra, but pretty much same rule. Oh, Those characters looks like their eyes are like really different. Is that sort of a marker of these are extras? Their eyes aren't as shiny and big. Oh, Caesar getting a chance to shine. Kind of show off her professional musical upbringing. I bet Caesar's thinking this is so different to like teaching Yui or Ritsu when she tried it out. Damn, she's such a pro. I love a Caesar. And she is such a good teacher. That was a very Yui like joke. I do love seeing a Caesar in this very different environment where she's away from her four senpais. It just it allows her to bring out this other more mature aspect of her. Wow. That's slight overkill there, Ui. Maybe she's just stressed from not being close to Yui. Yes. Cute. Do you know what? Because I feel like Azusa, when she is with the other girls of the band, she's almost always the straight man to their, funny men. So this is just like a different flavor of Azusa and her relating to other people. Okay, June is definitely channeling Yui, and it's probably reminding Azusa of Yui. Second stomach. We all have one for dessert. She's so excited. That's right. Mugi's power arm. Yui sloth roll. Azusa's hair is so long. It just goes on forever. Milk. She misses them so bad. Oh no. Oh, don't. It's like she's been bereft of all four of her parents. It's like a lost little cat. Also, this music is really cute. It's like a cute circus music. She squeezes from the middle. Actually, I do that too. I know it's sometimes it drives certain people crazy. That was such an inordinate amount of time spent on that tube of toothpaste. How does Azusa even manage that hair? Man, we get sad, depressed Azusa this episode. It's so funny because with all the other girls, there is never a dull, quiet moment where they're just sitting around sipping tea and reading some manga. There's always some crazy shenanigans going on. Oh no, what are they gonna find? That's right. Yeah, man, you can't skip a volume or an episode. That's barbaric. A text from Yui is to save the boredom. You can always taste the restlessness or the boredom. Oh. I bet Ui's amazing at this. Oh. Hi, random dude. Is this like. It's so weird seeing a dude in this series. Hmm. I remember there was a comment that was like, Yui directs all of her genius talents to one thing, guitar, and then Ubi kind of just spreads it out everywhere and she can pick up anything she wants. It's a very gifted family. Oh no, Ton-chan. Well, of course he's still alive. This is not that kind of show. What to feel. I don't think it's the rain that's making her all depressed. Um, she was able to impersonate Yui up until a certain point, so I think she's got this. Oh, it's so sweet how excited Azusa is as soon as they bring up, music. Oh, so she's a keyboardist. This reminds me of in the very first episode of season 1 when they're performing, the other girls are performing for Yui, and they churn out this old folksy song, and Yui is like, "That was crap, but I'm in." I really love that callback. Oh, that's nice lighting. What is that? Oh, these texts are like the life of this episode. Oh, they're trying to do that dialect. Why do they have a big stuffed version of Tonchan? Oh, this is. Yes! I was waiting for that face. The "we live in a society" face. Ah. Just okay. Everything feels right in the world now. What did they get her again? Was it like some kind of sword? She's so demanding. So sweet. Oh, they each have one. It's real family, man. Real families have matching keychains. Light music collider. K-on, but she's like, I'm home at last. Jet lag. Oh man, that was so sweet. Even, even when the four older girls were completely absent throughout 99% of the episode, they were still really felt. Especially Yui, because of all those texts that she was sending them. And it was really great just highlighting how much Asuza has come to rely on them and is just so comfortable being around them, even though, she has to deal with a lot of stuff. Dealing with all sorts of crazy being thrown at her, from Yui, Ritsu, Mio, and even Mugi at times. That was great. Whoa, we want to live today to the fullest so we can die without any regrets. It's a good message. Nice. All right, guys, we are going to go straight into episode 6, Rainy Season. If you're ready, let's do this in 3, 2, 1, play. Wow. I mean, I guess for music, that's sort of a healthy relationship. Healthy, obsessive relationship with your instrument. I would like to take a moment to express my deep appreciation for. I had it before, but Yui's VA. I'm sorry, I don't remember her exact name. No, it's gone. But yeah, her amazing ability to sing this crazily fast and offbeat, rhythmically complex song in character using Yui's voice, like the raspy, sort of high pitched Yui voice. That's just, I don't know. I've not seen that because in Western animations, I don't think they really do that. I've not really seen that because they always tend to use like other artists to do the opening songs. So the fact that they go to so much length to stay in character even throughout the songs, and people have told me that also during their live concerts, they also sing in character as well, which just blows my mind. So much respect for that. Oh, backstage pass. That was a good episode too. Protect the guitar. It's so interesting when they focus on Yui's feet. It's Her feet are never like straight parallel, they're always like this. I mean, as to what that means, who knows? Yeah, see? She just can't walk straight. Okay, I just love how Mio is just so casually sitting on Ritsu's desk. It's a small detail, but it's nice. Of course she did. Aishiteru. Mugi. Ritsu is so savage, man. Sure, Ritsu. Um, to that Highland princess hair, it takes a lot of work. Why is Mugi so good? What friends are these, man? Like bringing you hot water to soak your feet in, putting a sponge in your head. Doing a bit of role play, husband and wife. I mean, some of those aren't too bad. Gotta make that club sandwich. As with a lot of things with Yui, it's just like, why? Yeah, I mean, who else in the world, right? that one expresses her soul and character the best. Come on, Sawako. She's got to pretend like she doesn't appreciate it. Oh, whoa. That slasher sound. Thought so. I'm surprised Azusa wouldn't immediately assume that it was Yui. Mia. I guess growing up alone as a kid with nothing else to do, of course, you just find things around the house, all the domestics that she could learn. Oh, Ritsu, another side to her. Oh, is this like the principal or someone? Oh, Ritsu with her shirt tucked in is just so wrong on so many levels. Whoa. I mean, it's gonna kill Yui if she's not the life of the party. Of course, she did the plastic thing. Yeah. And Azusa just showcasing her competence once again. She just lives and breathes music. Well, they all do, but she does so in a more a professional way. Why else, indeed? uh. I love that it was just those like two couples just talking to each other across each other. Never? Oh, okay. So it's not that bad. Why would you do it like that? No. No, 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 no. Why? Why would you use tweezers? You just loosen the pegs. Oh my goodness, Yui. Don't do that to my heart. I felt something coming and then I was like, there it is. Wow, Mio just jumping right on the train too. Love heart transition. Yep, jealousy. It's not like that. My God, I love that ship dynamic as well. It's so different to the Mitsu one. Equally chaotic though, and equally opposites attract. So I guess not that she was unhappy before, but just really listless and aimless. No, she's really taken this whole personifying her guitar to a whole other level. Oh, is this a song that they sang as kids together? Oh, I thought we were gonna go to the ED. That was real sweet. Their faces. Half of a tone. Perfect pitch, man. It's the envy of every musician ever. Man, Yui has Azunyan on so whipped. It's so interesting how they're weaving and building a story out of literally the weather. Elizabeth. No, she could never. She's gonna wake up in the middle of the night and run to the school. Mia being very possessive. Wow, she's catching on. I love them so much. Wow, why do they give off such parent vibes right now? Sending their kid off. Ooh, spill those beans. Is that? It's like a scratching noise. Ooh, it's not a very pleasant sound. Oh, she's playing. Ooh, oh god, I hate fingernail scratching sounds. Wow, is she really going that crazy over the absence of her boyfriend guitar? That photo with 5 of them. Was she gonna like jump out the window? Sawako gets it. She's thinking about Elizabeth, which she has now subconsciously started calling her base because these kids, man, these crazy cat kids. I love that super quick animation they do when Mio gets freaked out. Also, this music is very romantic. Of course, she would get caught. She always gets caught, Mio. Another just really intriguing episode in the bag. Man, this Mia is so. Probably the Mia that has overcome her absolute fear of anything even remotely scary. I mean, never did I think that I would enjoy a series that makes such a big deal about rain and how it impacts the, storage of music instruments. It's so weird. I think it's because by this point, we're already so invested in the characters that honestly, it wouldn't matter what they do as long as they continue being the characters that they are and continue interacting with each other and growing in their relationships. Like, I'd watch them do anything. Even just sitting and, watching paint dry on a wall, I'd probably watch them do that because they could make it entertaining in some way, shape, or form. All right, awesome. All right, guys, let's talk. I felt that these two episodes shared an interesting trait in that the plot lines weren't really revolving around any particular character, but respectively for episode 5, it was the noticeable absence of the 4 older girls, and for episode 6, it was the rainy weather of all things. So with episode 5, it was both heartwarming and a little heartbreaking to see how lost Azusa was without being surrounded by the usual energy and antics of her senpais. I did enjoy seeing what she's like around her own classmates because we never really get to see that, as well as the freshmen below her, when she was teaching them guitar strumming technique. Because with the other 4 girls, Azusa is automatically the baby, not just in age, but in terms of how her senpais make it their mission to coddle and to protect her, even though arguably she is just as, if not more mature than them in certain respects. So seeing Azusa really lean into her competence on the guitar and her maturity was something new and just rounded out her character even more. Of course, we also saw that every time Yui sent Ui a text, Azusa's eyes would just light up and she'd like sidle over to see what Yui was up to at that moment. So there was that constant thread of, man, Azusa really misses those girls, especially Yui. Of course, at the end of episode 5, when Yui, bounds over and gives Azusa this big crushing hug, it just felt right. At the end of the day, nothing beats having the girls together, and it was sort of the same kind of feeling we got in Winter Days from season 1, where after the girls are, we see them living their lives individually. When they finally reunite, there's just such a feeling of absolute relief. And it's pretty amazing that we're at this stage where it just feels off when the girls aren't riffing off each other, both personally and musically. Episode 6, again, I'm just very impressed with K-on's ability to take the minutiae of life, something as mundane as the weather, and using that to develop the characters. So we saw the extent of Yui's like all-encompassing love for guitar and just how contagious that is. So where by the end of the episode, we have Mio, running to check on Elizabeth, a name that she, publicly denounced, but, privately started using. And even Azusa, the most sane of them all, just musing over what name she should give her Mustang. Even the whole sequence with Yui having to change outfits and Sawako sensei needing to keep in character and demand that, Yui comply with the uniform code, even though the whole time everyone knows that she is the one who obsessively dresses up the girls. So even like little character nods like that were really enjoyable. So that's it. Another 2 episodes of K-On! Under the belt. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. And I won't make any promises, but it is highly, highly unlikely that the next reaction will take 3 weeks again. So please do not worry. In the meantime, I hope you're doing all right with whatever it is that you're occupied in life with. And I will see you guys all next time.